So if you missed it last night, I can't really say I blame you, but Virginia set basketball all the way back to the Peach Basket days. And even then, I'm talking like James Naismith was probably turning in his grave last night at the absolutely disgusting, pathetically inept display of offense that Virginia made a bunch of people sit through last night. They should be prosecuted and charged for the damage that was done to my eyes and many other people's eyes that had to sit through and watch that nightmare. They should be arrested and they should be charged for assault, for the damage, for causing people's eyes to burn from watching that. I mean, that is as inept an offensive performance as you will ever see. They scored 13 points in the first half. 13 on 5 for 27 shooting. That's right, 5 for 27. And this on the heels of a game against Louisville where they did not make a single three-pointer and somehow pulled it out. In spite of that, but the 13 points in the first half is the lowest point total in a half in the history of the ACC tournament. The ACC tournament has been played for like close to 70-ish years by now, maybe 60. But it included like, Four Corners, North Carolina and stuff like that, and some of those other teams that were fairly low scoring. But this type of futility is Virginia also went the last 6 minutes of the first half without scoring a single point. Like, we're talking historically bad levels of offensive futility by a program that has become very well associated with offensive futility in the years since winning the national championship. I would honestly I'd call what their offense garbage, but y'all know that'd be an insult to garbage, and quite frankly, garbage doesn't deserve that. I would also say they looked like an intramural team playing out there, except I've actually seen intramural teams with that looked like they had more of a clue as to what they were doing on offense than Virginia did. I've seen intramural teams that had a better idea of how to get the ball in the basket than Virginia. I mean, it's embarrassing. It is absolutely embarrassing. 13 points in 20 minutes at the Division I level. 43 points for the entire game. A lot of it only came when Carolina kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit. It took them 15 and a half minutes just to get to 20. Just to get to 20. I mean, are you kidding? I don't even know if the Virginia players know what they're doing on offense half the time. I don't think they do. It's a lot of just we'll stand there, pass the ball, maybe we'll get an open three, but we'll probably get a contested jacket up three. And even when they do get open, they airball. How are you a guard at the Division I level that can't shoot? That seems like a pretty fundamental skill to have. But let's not put all the blame on the players, because Tony Bennett failed this team by not recruiting scorers and by not coming up with better offensive strategy. Again, back to what I was saying. I saw an intramural team on Wednesday night that whose offense was better coached up, better drawn up than some of the stuff I saw Virginia try and do. Quick little shout out to my guys on Team A, by the way. Amazing win. On to the semifinals. And at least they know how to play offense. Again, good for Team A. Offense is a valuable skill, and it would behoove, offense is a very valuable part of the game, and it would behoove certain coaches in the ACC to remember that, lest they become Gary Williams 2.0 and have a good few year run that culminates with a national championship and then basically fade into mediocrity and are never quite able to restore that excellence. Because that's what happened to Maryland under Gary Williams after they won the national championship. They just faded away. And Virginia is trending that way. And quite frankly, it is better for college basketball that Virginia fades away. You don't want teams that play the way Virginia plays being that good, because then other teams will try it. Like I said, I think in 2013 or 14, back when Virginia started to emerge, that was the year they were a 1 seed and won the ACC for the first time under Tony Bennett. They are going to be the first number 1 seed to lose to a 16 seed. I said that 4 years before it happened, because their style was tailor-made for it. Tailor-made. It's almost like they said, I want to make the wrong sort of history. Here's how we're going to do it. What do you know? Is Tony Bennett a really good coach? Yes. Is he Coach K? No. Not even close. And I hate Krzyzewski, but you can't compare. Tony Bennett's not even close to being anywhere near as good as that. He owned him head to head near the end there, but he's not even really Roy Williams either. I mean, Roy Williams' teams were at least kind of fun and entertaining to watch. At least his last couple weren't. But with Virginia, it's just a slog. It's an absolute bore. I mean, when you don't have scorers, and this is on Tony Bennett, that we don't have scorers, that Virginia doesn't have scorers. B, why are you still walking the ball up the court? Passing it around the perimeter. Why are you not trying to drive the ball inside? Virginia may not have scorers, but they have solid ball handlers. I refuse to believe that they could not have been more aggressive and taken the ball towards the rim more than they did this season and against Carolina last night. That's on Tony Bennett for not telling his team to stop doing stuff they're not, to stop being things they are not. They're not shooters. Armaan Franklin absolutely sucks. He stinks. He's absolute trash. I mean, Virginia's an absolute laughingstock. Their offense is an insult to the great game of basketball. I'm just calling it as it is. It's one thing to play deliberate, but this is not playing deliberate. To me, what Virginia does is as close as you will get, as close as you can get in a shot clock era to playing four corners. A lot of the time, that's exactly what it feels like. And that's boring. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you're boring because the defense is not the problem. This year's team is not necessarily as good defensively as some others, but it's not the defense that's the issue, and nor is it the defense, in my opinion, that makes Virginia really boring to watch, and quite frankly, really bad for college basketball. And quite frankly, it's really good for college basketball that they're starting to not be good because it'll disincentivize people from playing this way. And I think UMBC was the best thing that could have happened to the sport because after that, people aren't going to try and play like Virginia on offense. Oh, sure, they'll try and take their defense. There are a lot of other teams that run a similar kind of thing defensively, but you don't see a lot of teams playing Virginia style offense. You know why? Because it sucks. And it's an embarrassment. That is why.